Yes, hello once again. I'm Max Ratt. Welcome to the Max Ratt Deconstruction Zone. So it's May 29th, 2013, and I'm back in a week later with another show for you. I'm pretty happy about getting a show done in a week. Worked hard on it this week. So the last show was about wild horses and the metaphor and how you're being subliminally programmed through the media. And tonight's show is going to be on the on the Oklahoma tornado. I'm going to discuss. I've done several shows about natural disasters. I did the show about the Haiti earthquake years ago. It was one of my first shows I've ever done. I'm going to use a lot of clips in the interview I did from the Haiti earthquake because from a Haitian guy, personally, who was down there. He wasn't down there at the actual time of the Haitian earthquake, but he was there very shortly after, and he describes the earthquake very similarly to the way that this tornado is being described, and that's where I'm going to go with this show tonight. I'm going to discuss that. First of all, I don't believe for one goddamn minute that this is a tornado. Okay, this is the United States military has very sophisticated weaponry that they're using to create the effect, or the so-called effect, of a tornado or an earthquake for that matter. You're going to see that in the show that the earthquakes and the tornadoes have exactly the same similarities that they're and as well as what you're being propagandized into believing about a tornado is because what's going on is that they're using the same weaponry, which are as far as I can tell, electromagnetic frequency weapons, radio frequency weapons. I'm going to show you the outright admittance and existence of those weapons, and then I'm going to show you how these tornadoes and earthquakes and the like all seem to fall into the same category, and I'm going to show you how the interviews on for the Oklahoma tornado were all staged again. Now in this situation, like I've said in the past, maybe there was no shooting, there was no bombing, but in this situation, there certainly was a destructive force that was destroying homes and property and things like that. So why would you need to do fake interviews? I believe it's because they don't want people to really hear what really happened there. Okay, so they're going to tell you that they saw a tornado. I don't know if anybody saw a tornado. Okay, I'm not sure about that. Okay, but I do know that their houses were destroyed by something that they called a tornado on TV. That was not a tornado, and you know what? Sometimes you just have to use your common sense a little bit for once in your life, instead of just going by what TV says to you over and over and over again, to plant it into your head and realize that a tornado is supposed to be to come from on the very flat lands out west in Oklahoma and Kansas and places like that, the Great Plains, if you will, emergence of two storm fronts or weather fronts, that one's hotter weather, one's colder weather. So the fronts, the winds combine and somehow become in a polaric twister, and then that can sprawl over a bunch of area and destroy things in its path. That's fair enough, okay. But if you watch the and of course I took some clips from the movie Twister, and then there's another movie called Night of Twisters, and a couple other movies, of course. But just to show you that, but the destructive force and what's going on has nothing to do with tornado. Okay, I mean, first of all, homes are destroyed, but all the rubble, and rubble is not a characteristic of a tornado anyway, even though they call it rubble over and over and over again. And you'll say, well, rubble, and then when I said, an earthquake shouldn't break things into rubble, also everybody's like, oh, yes, well, earthquakes can shake things into rubble. I'm like, okay, fine, whatever you want to believe, fine. But now we have a tornado, and I would imagine if wind was blowing things to break them in half or break them up into little pieces, why wouldn't it break them? If it was strong enough to break them, why wouldn't it be strong enough to blow them away? All right. Yet all the so-called rubble, quote unquote, is sitting right there in the same spot that the tornado seemingly came through and crushed, and the people are finding all their items in that same pile where their house supposedly was or is or what or not or just was. Okay, and so why wouldn't any of it blow away? Okay, if it was so strong. So what happens? So we see in the pictures, and you can see them anywhere you want to go look. Okay, in the media, you're going to see pictures of just piles of stuff. Okay, that was the materials that made up the whatever house or building that that the tornado supposedly damaged. But like again, if this was such a 200-300 mile an hour winds, why wouldn't it blow everything away and scatter it? Okay, over land or area that isn't covered by a house. Okay, yet that's not the case here, and I believe that's outright proof. Plus the fact that the outright destruction is just extraordinary. And I'm sorry, but ever since 9/11, everybody says everything bends steel now. whether it's and now it used to be whether it's heat, now it's wind. We're talking about hospitals here and schools that have steel beams in them. Okay, and somehow the material personal around the beam seems to come down or break off. Okay, again, that has to do with resonance and frequency, electromagnetic frequency weapons. I believe that makes it fits the glove fits. Okay, perfectly. It doesn't fit the what they're showing us does not fit the criteria or the qualities of a tornado or of a wind at all. Okay, so keep that in mind. How about I start the show right now? Welcome aboard the Max Ratt Deconstruction Zone. I'm Max Ratt, live from the Rat Hole in New York City. It's May 29th, 2013, and here we go with the show. Thanks for listening. Thanks for coming aboard.
But what happens if I just follow the yellow brick road?
Follow the road. Okay, so here's a clip from 1984, the movie, where Winston is discussing why do they have wars and what is the power structure doing? Okay, and I think it's very relevant because the way that the power hierarchy stays in place is by destroying the fruits of the labor of the people, and Winston explains it better than me. So on that note, here's a clip.
The war is not meant to be won. It is meant to be continuous. The essential act of modern warfare is the destruction of the produce of human labor. A hierarchical society is only possible on the basis of poverty and ignorance. In principle, the war effort is always planned to keep society on the brink of starvation. The war is waged by the ruling group against its own subjects, and its object is not victory over Eurasia or Eastasia, but to keep the very structure of society intact.
Yeah, and that's a very prophetic and profound little clip from 1984. And that's a quote from the book. Let's keep this show going. Oklahoma tornado. We're discussing that. We're looking into it. We're investigating it, and here we go.
Yeah, we have about 1,200 homes that have been completely destroyed, but we've got 12,000 that have been damaged in one way or another, and that's a big piece of business. And along with the schools, we've got a hospital that has been destroyed. It's going to take a long time for this community to rebuild. So,
Okay, so a hospital destroyed and 1,200 destroyed and 12,000 homes damaged by the wind. And again, well, let's just keep it going from there.
Here I'm seeing somewhere between 12,000 to 13,000 homes either damaged or destroyed.
Those are the numbers that we're hearing as well, but those are yet to be totally confirmed by EMS, emergency management groups, Albert Ashford's group. But we're seeing just yesterday alone, we know that at the insurance checkpoint command center that they processed, opened 4,000 claims yesterday alone.
All right, opened 4,000 insurance claims in one day, and that has to do with again what Winston told you about the destruction of the labor of the people.
Scientists have been studying tornadoes forever, but still nobody knows how a tornado works. We have no idea what is going on inside.
No idea.
Well, as a scientist, can you actually predict tornadoes now? Well, no, they are very, very unpredictable.
That was from Twister, the movie, but they're telling you that tornado's very unpredictable.
Well, it's a very simple process. We've got it down to a science here. We've had, in the last couple of years, we've had the first ever National Tornado Summit here in Oklahoma City.
2 months ago, right?
Yeah, 2 months ago.
Yeah, so he says over the last couple of years, and then she says it was 2 months ago, wasn't it? He's like, oh yeah, 2 months ago. It's a simple process, even though they're telling you that we don't even know how they work. But they're saying we simply don't know how they work. Okay, he's like, again, he says it's a 2 year. He said we've been going through it for 2 years, and he's like, so she corrects his script, and she's like, you mean 2 months?
It's a very simple process. We've got it down to a science here. We've had, in the last couple of years, we've had the first ever National Tornado Summit here in Oklahoma City.
2 months ago, right?
Yeah, 2 months ago.
Right, the last couple of years we had the summit. She's like, that was 2 months ago, wasn't it? He's like, oh yeah, 2 months ago. Okay.
Very warm air wafting northwards from the Gulf of Mexico, meeting very cold air which plunges down from the northwest. Where the warm air and the cold air interact, we get big showers, thunderstorms forming, the atmosphere very unstable. And what we also have is winds at different levels in the atmosphere blowing in different directions. So the winds cut across each other. That causes those big storms to begin to spin, turning into those huge vortexes that you see. And that's how those tornadoes form.
Yep.
Shut up already. It's science.
That's the science. That's how winds. You see, and in a funny way, that's kind of how I was explained. I always thought they would have worked. Is that you have these weather fronts, and they come together, and they form a some sort of a tornado. But this what they're showing, the damage, and what they're showing what a tornado looks like in like the movie Twister, and which is a movie. But that's what I'm trying to say is that it's a movie, so it's not real. Okay. But that whole movie was I believe the second highest grossing movie of 1996 was all to plant all this stuff in your head because they're going to start using these weapons, so they needed to start programming you and to conditioning you for what to expect when it doesn't look like anything you've ever seen before, which is what I just showed you, the clips where they said we've never seen anything. We don't. Okay, well, I'm going to continue to show you clips about how people said I've never seen anything like that before. Of course you didn't, because it's a new weapon. Let's keep it going.
Pay no attention to that man behind the curtain.
Right, don't pay any attention to the guy behind the curtain, just to the talking heads out here on TV, including, I guess you can put me in that category, but I'm paying attention to the guy behind the curtain, folks. Keep it going.
Joe! Bill! It's coming! It's headed right for us! It's already here.
It's already here. That was from the movie Twister. I think it was kind of a hint into like world government is already here, but it's coming right for us. He's like, it's already here. Keep it going from there. Wizard of Oz. NEM from what's the word for it? The great Wizard of Oz movie. Here we go.
Well, the kind of chance of seeing one in any given particular location, because they're so small, obviously, is pretty low.
Okay, so now the guy from the BBC is saying, yeah, well, you might have, because people go, I didn't see that tornado that did all the I saw, it hit my house, but I didn't see it. So they're like, he's like, well, your chance of seeing it pretty small. That's, again, that's how because the media here in this case is not here to just straight out lie to, just, well, it's always there to straight out lie to you, I guess, but what I'm trying to say is it's like not to tell you that it's to tell you that you saw a tornado, just like to tell you that you saw airplanes on 9/11, the same thing. Okay, so let's keep it going from there.
I've never seen anything like this in my 18 years covering tornadoes.
Never seen anything like that covering tornadoes.
But the damage associated with this tornado that we saw in Moore earlier this afternoon is unlike anything I've ever seen before.
The damage is unlike anything he's ever seen, right? Because it doesn't fit the description of a tornado.
But the damage associated with this tornado that we saw in Moore earlier this afternoon is unlike anything I've ever seen before.
Well, there you go.
I have ever heard an earthquake that way.
That was from the Haiti interview. He said, "I've never seen an earthquake. I never hear of an earthquake that way." He speaks with a little bit of a broken English accent, but there you go.
Obviously, the damage here is pretty hard to comprehend.
Obama reinforcing the same thing, like, yeah, it's hard to comprehend. It doesn't make sense, is what he's saying. Okay, keep it going.
We're seeing images on our local news coverage here of what appears to be neighborhoods that are just blocks of streets reduced to just nothing, and it's just a massive amount of damage. Businesses, cars. We don't really even understand the scope of it yet.
Don't even understand the scope of it yet.
It was just unlike anything I've ever experienced to have those children there and to be in my care.
Okay, and that was interesting because that was from ABC, where she's supposedly a teacher. She's like having those children there. Like, I mean, you mean the children in your class it was nothing like I've ever experienced having those children there in my care. I'm like, we've never experienced having children in your care, but then she says nothing like I've ever experienced. She kind of screwed up her script a little bit. She was they were trying to keep those two things separately, I guess, or whatever. I'm not sure. But it came out kind of weird, but let's play it again and we'll keep going from there.
It was just unlike anything I've ever experienced to have those children there and to be in my care.
Okay, I've never experienced having those children there in my care, I guess, but she's supposedly their teacher, so that's kind of strange. Doesn't really make sense.
Let me begin by just saying that whenever I come to an area that's been devastated by some natural disaster like this.
Okay, so here's Obama, and reinforcing that it's a natural disaster, by the way, okay? Natural disaster, don't forget that. We want you to believe it's a natural disaster. It's all natural, yeah, nothing. We didn't do anything, it's all natural.
The Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away.
That was another clip from CNN where he's like, "The Lord giveth, the Lord taketh away," because they're trying to imply that that this was God created this event, okay, and this is natural, okay. So here we go.
On Sunday, the first deadly tornadoes touched down about 40 miles from here, and I mentioned this the day afterwards. There was a story that really struck me in the press. In the rubble was found a Bible. Open to the words that read, "A man will be as a hiding place from the wind and a cover from the tempest." And it's a reminder, as Scripture often is, that God has a plan, and it's important, though, that we also recognize we're instrument of His will, and we need to know that as fellow Americans, we're going to be there as shelter from the storm.
I offered up my innocence, I got repaid with scorn. Come in, she said, I'll give you a shelter from the storm.
Yeah, so Obama's there saying that God, it's again God. First of all, it's the most ridiculous thing. He says that they just, he heard a news report that there was just, they found a Bible and just happened to be open to this page of, and I checked that. It was a friend of mine and who is well versed with the Bible, and she told me that it's from Isaiah and that quote that he used, and I'm saying that he's basically trying to make it. He's trying to lend, because let's face it, this area is called the Bible Belt. Okay, people are very religious Christians or devout Christians, if you will, in that area, or many of them are. So they can relate to these, and they embrace these scripture quotes and things like that. So Obama, or maybe they take offense to Obama quoting it like that, which I'm sure many do. But so what I'm saying is that Obama is trying to connect the tornado with a God-created event, or an act of God, if you will. And then of course the Bible just so happened to have been open to the page where they were talking about some sort of a shelter from the storm scenario, and then you had Bob Dylan giving you his classic "Shelter from a Storm."
I offered up my innocence, I got repaid with scorn. Come in, she said, I'll give you a shelter from the storm.
There you go.
This was just one of 24 tornadoes that swept through much of the central and southern United States, accompanied by driving winds and hailstones the size of a fist.
Hailstones the size of a fist.
Okay, we got hail.
Hail. We got hail.
Twister, we got hail, so,
big damaging hail potentially within these storms, and around parts of northeast Texas, Oklahoma, some parts of Kansas as well. There is a 10% chance that we could see some more tornadoes through today.
Okay, so they're telling you there's hail out there, and they tell you in the movie Twister, they tell you in BBC twice. I don't know, I'm not sure if that's a deception or misdirection, or if that means that the way that these weather manipulation weapons work, that they may produce hail. I'm not sure about that, but they seem to want you to think that hail is involved in these, or maybe just telling you that there is, and then when you don't see it, you'll be like, well, that's because it's nothing like you've ever seen before. I don't know the answer to the question, to why, how, what the significance of it is, but if you saw hail, then there's your significance right there. So keep it going.
President Obama made a call to the Oklahoma governor, Mary Fallin, this evening, directing the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, as it's known here, to provide any assistance that she needs there in Oklahoma. FEMA has sent a special team to Oklahoma to work with the Oklahoma Emergency Operations Center.
Okay, FEMA's on the game, which is always trouble, if you ask me, but that means there's always something weird going on, and FEMA is under the direction of the Department of Homeland Security who brings you our lovely police state and all the other garbage, totalitarian garbage. So they're on the scene, and here's Obama thanking. So what Obama gets to the quote-unquote tour of Oklahoma tornado, and the first thing he does is what they all seem to do is start kissing each other's ass, start blowing each other, and start saying, I want to thank this one and thank that one, and pat each other on the back and tell them, just like, might as well, that's why we gave him a Peace Prize before he was even president or something, or whatever, before he even did anything. Because it's just pat each other on the back before anything even happens. And here we go with that.
First of all, Governor Mary Fallin, thank you so much for your quick response and your outstanding work.
There you go. Obama thanking the governor.
And Brownie, you're doing a heck of a job. The FEMA director's working 24.
Brownie doing a heck of a job. Same thing.
Mayor Glenn Lewis, the mayor of Moore. Representative Tom Cole, not only is this his congressional district, but more importantly, this is his hometown.
And Brownie, you're doing a heck of a job. The FEMA director's working 24.
There you go, and keep it going with that. So Obama's likes to patting each other on the back right now. We just got here. That's why I'm putting in the beginning of the show, because we just got here, and we got to thank everybody. I want to thank Max Ratt for the show today. And
hey, do you remember when you were Judges and Stewards Commissioner of the International Arabian Horse Association? Yeah, why did we ever think that'd be proper training for you to head up FEMA? I know, it literally makes no sense.
A lot of things won't make any sense with this one. So Obama's he's going to start telling you how we had these natural disasters, quote unquote, in all these other places, but he leaves out New Orleans, if you notice. Let's play this clip.
If you talk to folks in Alabama who've been affected over the last couple of years, you talk to the folks at Joplin, who I know have actually sent volunteers down here to Moore. If you talk to folks in New Jersey and New York, they'll tell you that when we say we're going to be there until you completely rebuild, we mean it.
Okay, so he says Alabama, which was part of the Katrina hurricane, so to speak. So interesting how he intentionally leaves out New Orleans, because New Orleans was a failure, obviously, and continued failure in that regard.
Oh, hey, do you remember on national television when Kanye West said that I hated black people? I know, I don't hate black people. I never even think about them.
Right, Will Ferrell again, talking about Bush. He was doing, that was his Bush impression.
By the way, how's New Orleans doing? A lot of it still hasn't been rebuilt. You know, it's funny, you would have thought after my initial mess-up that I would have dedicated more of my second term just to checking in on New Orleans. I know, but I didn't.
Everybody's lying to each other. No one is telling the truth.
These
people just still live in the same way, and the path and the street. Nothing changes.
That was a guy from Haiti who said that was numerous months after the earthquake in Haiti. He said everybody's lying to each other. The news is lying, and nothing changes. Okay, there you go.
Can I ask you how much of the $10 billion that's been promised has been delivered?
It's not much. It's not much.
Yeah, and there's a little clip that I played in my last show, but he also played in my Haiti show, where Ban Ki-moon, the Secretary General of the United Nations, says, "Yeah, well, you know, and Obama's telling you, you could just ask the people from New York and New Jersey and New Orleans and not New Orleans and Alabama, Joplin, how good a job we did, but in Haiti, and New Orleans, unfortunately, Will Ferrell might be right on this one."
Oh, hey, do you remember on national television when Kanye West said that I hated black people? I know, I don't hate black people. I never even think about them.
Yeah, so, but of course that's a way to get people to divide as well, and then pointing that out. But I did point that out, but believe me, everybody's getting fucked on this one, not just black people. But keep it going. Now here's a little jazz clip that I found.
Brownie, you're doing a heck of a job. Brownie, you're doing a heck of a job. Brownie, but Brownie, you're doing a heck of a job. Brownie, but Brownie, you're Brownie, you're Brownie, you're Brownie, you're Brownie, but Brownie, you're Brownie.
Doing a heck of a job, Brownie. Doing a heck of a job. Mary Fallin he says Fallin, it's Fallin from Oklahoma governor.
Hey, do you remember when I finally got on the ground and it wasn't even New Orleans? That's right, it was Mobile, Alabama. And I said, "Brownie, you're doing a heck of a job." It's so funny because you were not doing a heck of a job.
And it's so funny how Obama so Bush goes to Alabama to address the Katrina events, and tells Brownie he did a heck of a job in Alabama and not in New Orleans, and then Obama leaves out New Orleans. Okay, again, so just keep that in mind. We'll keep it going.
The storm had barreled across the Midwest, terrifying and unstoppable.
Be aware, be underground, or like Mike said, just get out of there.
Lions and tigers and bears. Oh my!
Yeah, that's it was a real danger, I guess, but of course they weren't trying to scare you as well.
We measure tornadoes on a scale called the Enhanced Fujita scale. It runs from 0 at the bottom to 5 at the top, 5 being the most powerful. This is estimated to have been a Category 4 tornado. Of course, it's very hard to measure tornadoes and the wind strength because you see the devastation it caused. Try to put any measuring equipment in there, well, you wouldn't have a lot of luck. We measure them really by looking at the devastation that they cause.
I tried to put a measuring equipment, which is what they did in the whole movie Twister was about, trying to put this contraption they devised named Dorothy, of course, into the tornado. That's all. So they tell you it can't be measured, so they have to measure by how much it cost or how much the devastation it caused. Okay, which is it's certainly not a double-blind science method. Okay, and doesn't really make any sense, but nothing's supposed to make sense in this show. So let's keep it going, and then we got the Fujita scale.
Here's ABC's Akiko Fujita tonight.
Oh, and it just so happens that there's an Asian reporter named Akiko Fujita on ABC. For whatever reason, and you see what they're doing is they're actually linking Asian reporters in with these natural disasters. Why? I guess to try to subliminally link your head to the reason what's causing these natural disasters is China and Korea and the Asian production machine that we've given all our jobs away to. Interesting, but I have no doubt in my mind that's intentional.
The EF scale is the Enhanced Fujita scale, and we rate tornadoes according to how much damage they produce on the scale from 0 to 5.
Okay, so the Fujita scale is from 0 to 5.
We have tracked one tornado. It's at least a 5 on the Fujita scale.
Okay, so in Night of Twisters they got at least a 5, but the 5 is the highest number on the scale. So there's just a way to program you for disaster as well. Keep it going.
No, that was a good-sized twister. What was that, an F3?
Solid F2.
See, now you've lost me again.
It's the Fujita scale. It measures the intensity of a tornado by how much it eats.
Eats?
Destroys.
It's the Fujita scale, man. That's how it works. And Akiko Fujita.
Akiko Fujita, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Okay, and then in Family Guy, they have an Asian correspondent who covers the hurricane.
We now go live to Asian reporter Trisha Takanawa for a look at how locals are dealing with the imminent disaster. Trisha?
Diane, I'm hearing.
Thank you, Trisha.
There you go, and then of course you get a laugh out of it because people love to see the Asian correspondent get smashed.
If I only had the nerve.
And let's keep it rolling from there.
I was holding my dog. I was sitting on the stool holding my dog. This was the game plan all through the years, to go in that little bathroom.
Okay, so now in CBS I have this old lady, and she's like holding my dog, and I was taught to go in the bathroom. We're gonna discuss the bathroom in a second.
I haven't got a brain.
And okay, so here's another.
Yeah, well, they didn't know the tornado was coming. I called them and said, "Hey, get in the bathroom now," and they got in the bathroom and they survived.
Okay, so now they're telling people to get in the bathroom now. Now I can understand if it was some place where people would think is the safest place in the house, but and I have to think it's something to do with that there's tiles in bathroom and the porcelain and the tile do not or might be work as some sort of a deflector of these waves, okay, or maybe it just breaks instantly. Well, that wouldn't fit my theory, but I don't know why they're telling people to get in the bathroom. I think it's has to do with that these waves, these wave technology weaponry only break certain things. It doesn't break the other things because it has to do with the resonant frequency of the material that's being zapped with the waves. Okay, so keep it going. I know that sounds crazy, but These weapons are admitted and very real, and I'll show you that coming up in the show. So let's keep it going with that one. So they're telling people to get in the bathroom.
Heather, your family has been through an awful lot, even before this tornado hit. Just within the past 2 years, you lost your mother to breast cancer. You lost your husband in a car crash. Sadie, your dog, was in that car crash and survived. So give me an idea of just what Sadie symbolizes to you, especially after that desperate search to find her.
She really just symbolizes hope. She, she's been through a lot, and one of those things that you can hover down low and you can keep on ticking. You just kind of have to hanker to your bearings, and you can always make it through.
Hover down low, hanker to your bearings, and hunker down. What did she say? I mean, talk about that. You think that's talk about a script, and then the other part is that the CNN anchor guides her tells her whole story before it's about, and they're talking. By the way, they're talking about the dog also.
Heather, your family has been through an awful lot, even before this tornado hit. Just within the past 2 years, you lost your mother to breast cancer. You lost your husband in a car crash. Sadie, your dog, was in that car crash and survived.
Just a twisted entrance to this interview where she tells her what about her own life. I guess that you can call it. Well, like, well, Max, people need to know what her backstory is. Whatever. Okay, her mother to breast cancer. It's just they try to get in as many. Whoever writes these things trying to get as many agendas as possible, can compact it into these little scripts that they have.
So, give me an idea of just what Sadie symbolizes to you, especially after that desperate search to find her.
She really just symbolizes.
What does your dog symbolize to you after your mother had breast cancer and your husband died in a car crash? I mean, what?
Just hope. She, she's been through a lot, and one of those things that you can hover down low and you can keep on ticking. You just kind of have to hanker to your bearings and.
Hover down low, hanker to your bearings. Wow.
You can always make it through.
Always make it through, man, and with your dog Sadie.
I'll get you, my pretty, and your little dog too.
Yeah, that's why there's always got to be a dog in this story, in this script, for sure.
And I never lost consciousness, and I hollered for my little dog, and he didn't answer or didn't come, so I know he's in here somewhere.
And of course, they find the little dog, and guess who he looks like? Exactly. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's check it out. Let's keep it going.
Now, you knew your dog Sadie was at home. Your dog, being a real survivor, survived the car crash that your husband was involved in, your late husband was involved in. And then, how did you find your dog alive?
A lot of family and friends knew that she was missing, and they started looking for me since I was trying to put things together with the house and get things situated. And they sent me a picture from a shelter and said, "Is this her?" And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, yes, that's my dog." And so they went and got her and brought her to me.
I'll get you, my pretty, and your little dog too.
What do you think of all this? This is your neighborhood. I can't imagine.
This is life in the big city.
The dog. The dog. The dog. Hi, puppy. The dog.
Yeah, and they find the little dog. It's a little black dog just looking just like Toto from The Wizard of Oz. Oh, isn't that a coincidence?
Drat you and your dog.
Drat you and your dog. Keep it going from there.
As we warned yesterday, more deadly tornadoes have formed and, as we've seen, tragically devastated a suburb of Oklahoma City. Now, the massive funnel cloud, a vortex, tore through buildings. Unusually, this funnel cloud, 2 kilometers across, stayed on the ground for a full 45 minutes.
Okay, we got sisters.
sisters, and 45 minutes. It was, but the other people you're gonna hear say in the show are gonna say that no, it came and went in a second, but it was on the ground for 45 minutes. Keep it going.
7.5 kilometres from top to bottom, a full 2 kilometres wide, which is why it caused such wide.
Right, so that's 2 kilometers is more than a mile wide, and 7 kilometers is about 4 2/3 miles high. Yeah, okay. And again, that's what they're telling you. It was. There are no accounts except for from the news about anything like that. That's in fact, but the news is telling you, and you might have missed it because you don't get to see them very often.
Widespread devastation.
So keep that in mind. That's the science. Science. There you go. And so now we're going to hear about ears popping. Okay, and that's another thing that that if you're blasting huge amplitudes of waves, you're going to get pressure on your ears, even though if you can't hear you can't hear the waves because it's outside of your range, your range of hearing. That doesn't mean the waves aren't out there and you're not in them. So you're going to get your ears popping. That's what that's from. Okay, let's check it out.
I've actually heard it go over us, felt our ears popping. It's just something that we've never experienced. It was really scary.
We never experienced our ears popping like that.
Across town, walls also crumbled around the 22 people riding out the storm in this bank, huddled inside the vault.
They were holding the door shut, but when the pressure started to drop and our ears started to pop, that's when the bank manager started yelling, "Don't let go."
All right, the bank manager started yelling, "Don't let go," which is another subliminal suggestion into, I guess, don't let go of the dollar, or the U.S. dollar. But also at the same time, she's telling you what to think, or how to process what happened to you if you in fact heard it or saw it or were involved in war, Oklahoma. So she said, yes, the pressure dropped and my ears started popping. That's just for everybody else who experiences the same situation, that they have to know that, oh, that's normal. Yeah, that's normal. Your ears are popping normal. Again, that's what the TV is for, to program you and to condition you for all these types of things.
Joe, it's barn burner. It's not gonna hang out long. It's not hanging out long. We got it, we see it.
To Twister, it's not going to hang out long.
I mean, it was there and it was gone. Just no time.
CBS News, okay, helping, that's part of your conditioning. It comes and goes, boom, 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 and everything's gone, everything's destroyed. And nothing blows away, and everything just lays flattened down and flattens, okay? We're going to do a whole section on flattening, so stay tuned. Let's keep it moving.
A massive recovery effort at one of 2 schools for children.
Schools for children. Okay.
When I saw you, I ran up to you and I just jumped on you, and I knew that you were going to pick me up, so I just jumped and you picked me up, and I just started hugging you really hard, and like I was crying a little bit, and I was happy that I survived.
Okay, that's a kid named Hezekiah, if you will. Hezekiah is also in that that section of scripture in Isaiah, which has to do with a storm. So now the book that Obama found that did the quote from also has the names of people in the script, okay, or it's Hezekiah, and on that note, the kid himself is reading a script. I mean, he's a little kid, okay, a little cute kid, and he's reading it so slow, and he says "you" all the time, because again, now what that's all about is that whenever they do these interviews or these stage interviews, they tell the person who's reading the script, who's the actor, so to speak, or the portrayer of the character, tell him you always talk to him as like, this is what you would do, this is what you do, this is what you do. Again, just to tell you what to do and what to think and you how to act. and how to condition you. There you go. Let me play him again, and we'll keep it going. He says, you. It's not me, it's you. And I'm Hezekiah, the guy from the Bible, remember?
When I saw you, I ran up to you, and I just jumped on you, and I knew that you were going to pick me up, so I just jumped, and you picked me up, and I just started hugging you really hard, and like I was crying a little bit, and I was happy that I survived.
Thank you, Hezekiah, and well read, good coaching, whoever's coaching him. Keep it going.
You don't know if he's safe, if he's still stuck under all that rubble. Is he, where is he? You don't, being a mother, you have to know where your babies are. And then I got confirmation that they had him, but he didn't make it.
All right, that's a woman supposedly talking about her deceased child, okay? And she says, you, this is how you would feel, not me, you. Not I didn't, she didn't say I once, again. And Hezekiah, same thing. This is called script reading and bad acting. And for the little kid's sake, good script reading, and he's probably didn't even know he was supposed to be acting. So he's probably didn't know he was supposed to be. He was a very young kid, maybe 4 years old, 5 years old, tops.
What was it like for you when it hit your classroom?
Again, it's for you. You see, that's a very overutilized, very prolifically utilized technique. Okay, it's like it's for you. So you're like, yeah, that's me.
Well, I had actually stepped.
And she says, and she laughs, okay, because she's like, this is okay. I guess it's my turn. I'm up. It's because she's so stupid.
What was it like for you when it hit your classroom?
Well, I had actually stepped out of my classroom to let a parent into the classroom because she was an assistant teacher in the school. And
okay, you mean just that? I mean, when you mean stepped out of the classroom to let the parent in the classroom, whatever. You just don't open the door and they walk in. You have to get. Would you have to go outside in the hall and chat with them? And then she did this. Where she just listen.
And I actually saw the tornado coming. And knew how serious it was and was just trying to calm the children down.
If you only had a brain.
I don't know what, you heard what she's like. She went out into the hallway to let somebody else in who was a volunteer parent, and then she saw the hurricane. She knew it was bad, and she, yeah. And whatever.
If you only had a brain.
And this is how you react to it.
And what did you do? I know you put books on their heads.
And so now the ABC anchor leading, it's like, okay, you put books on their heads, carry on, now take over the script.
I had them take their backpacks and put them over their heads, just as another safety precaution, as they were down in the corner, in the center of our room, in the center of our building.
Down in the corner of the center of our room, center of our building. Okay, but it's in the corner of the center of a room of the building. Okay.
If I only had a brain.
And let's keep that going.
And the storm was picking up cars and slamming it into the school, slamming them into the school.
When I walked out and saw that, I was like, whoa, that's, where did they come from? And you walk out and you look at the parking lot, and where's all the cars? That's an odd feeling. Like, you can't just go get in your car. Like, I'll drive off now. I'm really proud of it, the whole staff there, and keeping everybody safe.
Yeah.
And it's heartbreaking. I haven't seen that video, so it's
hard to see.
Yeah.
So he says, there was cars flying through the air and hitting things, and she says, yeah, I know, and then she says, but I haven't seen that video, and he says, yeah, it's hard to see. Whatever that's supposed to mean.
Shit, they're lying to us!
Really?
The teachers who shielded with their own bodies their students.
Okay, so now we got teachers shielding students with their own bodies. Obama told us that, so it must be true.
The teachers were, laying your bodies right on top of their...
teachers laying their bodies right on top of the students, and Obama's like, I heard about that too, I guess.
Just laying my body on top of as many kids as I could to help out.
Laying my body on top of as many kids as I could. Another twisted innuendo, but keep it going from there. And yeah.
I mean, is this some kind of incredible joke that people are so stupid they'll fall for this?
Possible.
What makes a king out of a slave? Courage.
All right. Keep going.
He had to just park and end up walking. Parents walked for miles just to get to their children.
Okay, so again, back to the parents walking for miles to find their children. Kind of like the same thing from the Boston bombing. Again, a script from the same. If you listen to enough of my shows, you'll realize that there's the same script writers for everything. Okay? And if you don't believe me, then listen to a couple of my shows, because you'll see it's the same dang thing all the time.
The man you just saw, Peter Iovine, he drove, then he got on the subway, and then he walked with his wife more than an hour to get to that church to pay his respects.
Wow. Yeah, he walked, he drove, he drove to the subway and then walked. Okay, this in Boston bombing, these people only just walked.
I haven't got a brain.
It was just heartbreaking to see the tears of joy.
Heartbreaking to see the tears of joy. Interesting interpretation of that script.
But starting the next day, the citizens of Blainsworth dusted themselves off, began the process of rebuilding.
And the citizens rebuild.
They have an option to rebuild or potentially relocate.
Rebuild or relocate.
And you know what, I feel that way for sure. After that, they want to remove the people from border points, so for them to take over that land. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay, the Haitian guy from the interview telling you that he felt like they did that earthquake to get people off of their land. Specifically Port-au-Prince.
They have an option to rebuild or potentially relocate.
Potentially relocate, which means it's better to relocate. Again.
The war is not meant to be won. It is meant to be continuous. The essential act of modern warfare is the destruction of the produce of human labor. A hierarchical society is only possible on the basis of poverty and ignorance. In principle, the war effort is always planned to keep society on the brink of starvation. The war is waged by the ruling group against its own subjects, and its object is not victory over Eurasia or Eastasia, but to keep the very structure of society intact.
You can replace the homes and the cars. You can't replace children. So you take care of the property exposures are secondary. So now the insurance industry is starting to step up. Search and rescue looks to be over. And now the insurance companies are lined up. They've come in from all over the world.
Because you just never know. And I guess that's the best way for it to be.
What would you do with a brain if you had one?
Okay, and as we come moving along in the show, keep it going.
Some ones you can't believe at all. Other ones you get shocked because one house can be totally gone and the house next door standing there.
Okay, here's another conditioning segment of the show where they're going to hear several different people talk about one house is intact, the other house is destroyed. But if and they're talking about houses adjacent to each other. So how does that work again? Because the one house could be made out of different material than the other house, and I believe that that's what's going on with these weapons. But we're gonna keep going, and we're gonna talk about the weapons coming up soon.
Now often a tornado will form descending to the ground and then reascending back up into the thunderstorm. So while one house might sustain damage, another close by might not be damaged at all.
Right, so even though they say that the tornado was on the ground for 45 minutes, and now they're going to say it's bouncing over houses. So, yeah, okay. Whatever.
Science! Last night she called in to Piers Morgan.
It was very, very similar. Cars were turned over. Some houses were half gone. Some houses were all gone.
Some houses are half gone, some houses are all gone, and some houses are not gone at all. That's again more conditioning for the same thing.
I mean, a tornado can hit the ground for only 30 seconds, rip up your house, and leave the neighbor's place completely untouched.
Right, there's more conditioning from the movie Night of Twisters to condition you to say, so if something like that pops up, but that, it's funny because that's a trait of the earthquake too.
What I'm saying to you, it was like kind of strange for an earthquake to happen the way that was. Because when you look at Port-au-Prince, it just sat down and next door to Port-au-Prince, everything is fine, there was no problem.
So he's saying in Port-au-Prince everything was flattened, and next door to Port-au-Prince everything's fine, no problem at all. Again, from the earthquake, and Port-au-Prince is a circular city more or less. So that doesn't really make sense. Again, and they're saying so now. So in other words, these weapons are be able to be aimed and certain, and they have to include the correct bandwidths, but in Haiti too there was buildings standing that were untouched, again because they were made from different material.
You've never seen it miss this house and miss that house and come after you.
Christ, Joe, is that what you think it did?
Miss this house, miss that house, and come after you. So now she's personifying it. That was in the movie Twister again, just conditioning you more for these peculiar events.
Sounds odd when we talk about a storm that was over a mile wide.
Kind of odd, the BBC guy said. Keep going.
Look closely. You can see the flashes as the power lines and transformers are ripped apart.
Oh, there's a huge flash.
Okay, so there's all these flashes, and they're going to tell you that that's from power lines being ripped apart. But I'm going to tell you it's from electromagnetic waves channeled and hitting each other at a certain point, and you're gonna hear the evidence for that coming up right now. So I'm going into the weather weapon section of the show. Check it out.
The flash right there was another transformer popping. It's taken out a power line and exploding the transformer.
Yeah, so CNN wants to tell you that that's an explosion. Those flashes are from explosions of transformers, but I would argue different. I would beg to differ on that.
He is best remembered as the man who invented alternating current electricity. In 1899, Tesla built this giant coil which produced 10 million volts of artificial lightning. From it, he theorized the possibility of death rays. This and many other of his ideas about the physics of electricity were ridiculed by the scientific establishment.
Right, Nikola Tesla. That was 1899. He made the Tesla coil, which supposedly could generate. Well, I don't think there's anybody debating that he was generating giant amounts of electricity from his coil. That was in 1899, and he's a father of alternating current, or AC/DC electricity, and just keep that in mind. These are there's many people who will tell you that this new age of weaponry is all based on a lot of Tesla's theories and scientific discoveries.
Electromagnetic waves come, of course, in all sort of forms. People may not realize that the light that that makes me visible in this moment, all right, is an electromagnetic wave. It's a particular part of what we call the spectrum of electromagnetic waves that our eyes are sensitive to. Electromagnetic waves are also heat, for example. When we say that the sun warms us up, it's a particular form of electromagnetic waves that we don't see, but that our skin sees, and sees it as warm.
Progress is being made in even newer weapons that could render any arms agreement relatively useless. Lightning is the most dramatic form of energy to be found in nature. Scientists have succeeded in creating limited types of artificial lightning, and some think that these could be the forerunners of a new type of directed energy weapon, part of a family of weapons which operate within the radio frequency segment of the electromagnetic spectrum, and are thus referred to as radio frequency weapons. Dr. James Frazier has researched electromagnetic effects for the Air Force for over 10 years, And he, like a small but growing number of weapons experts, feels that radio frequency, or RF weapons, could be the wild card in the ongoing arms race.
You could have tremendous amounts of radiative power. And what you did with that power then is a matter of engineering design and what your goal is.
There you go. You can do it. And that was 1985, folks. And I would argue that they already had these weapons even at that point, and they had been refining them, and that was almost 30 years ago at this point. Okay, so just think about how far other technology has progressed in 30 years, and then tell me why you don't think that they're talking about 1985, and you don't think that they could be using it and have it now. And then if they did have it now, why wouldn't I'll show you? Coming up in a couple of clips is Rumsfeld telling you that we are using them now, or we will use what we have.
These electromagnetic waves can be harnessed and used in a variety of ways.
There you go. There's nobody's disputing that.
So early in the 50s, at Los Alamos, where they were doing this high-level nuclear work, they said, what about just creating this electromagnetic pulse? And that's where the early work was done on trying to figure out a way to convert explosive energy into electrical energy. And since that time, we've had laboratories and an active research program that's been spending its time developing electromagnetic and high-energy microwave weapons.
There you go. That's since the 1950s. He said they've been developing electromagnetic microwave weapons. The other thing you might see is that the cars all the windows are blown out and they almost look fried a little bit. Okay, the tires can be off of them sometimes, or burned off somehow. And when are they going to tell you that was blown off by the wind? The tires were blown off, but the cars, whatever. So they are using micro and just like in the microwave, when you put it in, first of all, it heats from inside out. Second of all, sometimes you put it in a piece of paper or you put it in a plastic microwave safe, quote unquote, plastic container, and the plastic doesn't melt. Why is that? Because the waves, okay, have different resonant frequency. The waves that they're shooting, the material that you're heating it in has a different resonant frequency than the material you were heating. So that's how a microwave works. And people have had microwaves for 40 years in their houses, or 30 years at least, maybe closer to 40. Let's keep it going from there. They told you that they were doing them in Los Alamos in 1950. So far, I'll show you about 4 or 5 different scientists who already told you that yes, there's no question. And now I'm going to show you the people in the government and Department of Defense who are going to admit to be having the same thing.
As the 21st century unfolds, the same technology that gave us the benefit of cell phones, microwaves, and remote control is now being applied to a completely new array of powerful weapons. A development veiled in secrecy until a certain New York Times reporter started digging.
Well, the New York Times wanted to do a story on the new frontiers of military technology, and we have done a lot of work previously on what have been called smart bombs and the satellite-guided munitions. We really wanted to find really what the next frontier was, and I did some reporting, talking to some military analysts that I know, and also some people actually in the investment community who follow companies that make their money off government contracts, and they mentioned to me this whole new category of weapons known as directed energy or electromagnetic weapons.
Directed energy or electromagnetic weapons. That's a New York Times columnist, if you want to believe anything the New York Times tells you. And that was also from many years ago in 1985. That was from the same CNN report that about directed energy electromagnetic weapons. Keep it going.
The research and certainly the concepts for directed energy weapons go back many decades. What is happening is that the technology has now advanced sufficiently that we're starting to see the weapons come into fruition. In other words, they're becoming real. There are several types of directed energy weapons.
Okay, and that's an old interview, probably 25 years old, 30 years old also. So keep it going from there. Now here's William Cohen, who this is probably more like 10 years ago, and he was the the Secretary of Defense of the United States of America, and he gets asked the question, what about electromagnetic weapons, Mr. Cohen?
You had touched on electromagnetic waves and people working on that. Are there people in several countries working on things like weather modification or using electromagnetic waves as weapons and that kind of thing? Is that real?
Oh, absolutely. I think there's no question that every conceivable type of weapon is being examined or explored by various individuals, if not with the support of their government, then certainly with the knowledge. I think that this is inevitable, and EMP, other types of activities, but using electromagnetic waves surely is involved.
EMP, which is electromagnetic pulse, and electromagnetic wave, and other weapons using electromagnetic waves, he said certainly is involved. That's William Cohen, the Secretary of Defense of the United States of America. Okay, so again, I'm not sure why anybody wouldn't believe it, but wait till you see who's going to tell you that it's made up.
Manufacturers are now developing a full range of electromagnetic weapons which pack an invisible wallop, hundreds of times more powerful than the electrical current in a lightning bolt.
People are manufacturing electromagnetic weapons now. This is from a few weeks ago, okay, or a week ago. Rachel Maddow telling you that secret weather weapons are made up, okay, made up. But I just showed you stuff from 1985 and onwards, where the Secretary of Defense admitted to their existence for sure. He said absolutely. Okay, are they? The guy said, "Are they real?" He said, "Absolutely." Now, Rachel Maddow, a week ago, will tell you that it's made up. It's made up. Okay, so in other words, if you have your mind open and your eyes and ears open, such as somebody like Max Ratt does, okay, and is saying can't possibly be a tornado, and then now she's going to tell you, all you morons who would bother even listening to her to begin with, okay, she's going to tell you, or any of those stupid TV news shows without, unless you're trying to deduce what's going on for real, which is how I would do it, is that they're secret and made up. Okay, so you're a crazy person if you think that. But but I'm a crazy person. Why? Because I heard a dozen different people tell me that that's exactly what they're doing, and I understand the science even well enough to understand that I don't see why it's not the most complicated thing you could do anyway. Okay, but here's Rachel lying Maddow.
Who knows if the U.S. government uses a secret made-up weather weapon that only exists in the mind of,
a secret made-up weather weapon that only exists in the mind of, and I think she was going to talk about Alex Jones there or something, but Alex Jones Alex Jones is working together with her to begin with. I don't want to get distracted on that right now. Let's listen to her again. She said it's a secret made-up weather weapon, okay? But that a dozen people have already said. William Cohen, the Secretary of the Defense, said they're absolutely real. She's like, it's secret made up.
Who knows if the U.S. government uses a secret made-up weather weapon that only exists in the mind of,
You are a damn bold-faced liar.
There you go, and let's just move on. So they're telling you in the news that they're secret and made up. Why would she do that when it's already on record? It's high level people admitting that it's absolutely real, absolutely real. Why would she do that? That's because you just keep moving. You didn't see anything here, and that was a tornado. And shut up. And then she's gonna say mockingly, even though she's a fool, okay, or the complicit lying low-life criminal who's trying to tell you that this is trying to mislead you because you might be not unfortunately, but you might happen to be somebody who agrees with her character or something like that, and so you're going to yes, unfortunately you agree with her character, so you're going to believe what she says. You can say that's stupid and made up. No, it's not. Fucking Secretary of the Defense of the United States, William Cohen, said they're absolutely real years ago, and so did a dozen other people. Okay, so let's just keep it going from there. Here we go.
The precision of our electromagnetic pulse, much like the precision of our regular munitions, our conventional munitions, has increased significantly.
Okay, so the precision of our electromagnetic weaponry has increased significantly. Wouldn't doubt that for 1 second either, because the way things are looking.
Toto? I have a feeling we're not in Kansas anymore.
Okay, folks, and that couldn't be more prophetic right there. Keep it going. Here's William Cohen again, the Secretary of Defense of the United States, the same interview.
Are there people in several countries working on things like weather modification or using electromagnetic waves as weapons and that kind of thing? Is that real?
Well, absolutely. I think there's no question that every conceivable type of weapon is being examined or explored by various individuals, if not with the support of their government, then certainly with the knowledge. I think that this is inevitable, and EMP, other types of activities, but using electromagnetic waves surely is being considered by certain individuals.
Surely being considered by certain individuals, and it's funny how it's almost the same interview, but he says surely are involved in the other one, in the other interview, in the other clip. I'm not sure why that worked out like that, but yes, it's surely being considered for use. Okay, and that was at least 10 years ago. Keep it going.
Scientists say that microwaves and other types of RF pulses operating at specific frequencies or windows can be transmitted with little or no loss of power. Machines known as gyrotrons can produce the massive pulses needed to drive these devices, and it's believed that the Soviet Union has a 3 to 5 year lead in this technology. Over the past year, CNN has repeatedly asked the Department of Defense and the Air Force about radio frequency weapons. After much resistance, DoD finally said that the subject was too sensitive to discuss.
Right, in 1985 they're telling you that we have to keep up with the Russians because they're making those weapons. So everybody's making them and has them for the last 30 years, but Rachel Maddow is telling you that they're secret and don't and you're crazy to believe that they don't even exist. Made up, she said.
In the normal order of things, when you invest in research and development and begin a developmental project, you don't have any intention or expectations that one would use it. On the other hand, the real world intervenes from time to time, and you reach in there and take something out that is still in a developmental stage, and you might use it. So your question's not answerable. It depends on what happens in the future and how well things move along the track, and whether or not someone feels it's appropriate to reach into a development stage and see if something might be useful, as was the case with the unmanned aerial vehicles.
But you sound like you're willing to experiment with it.
Yeah, I think that's the point, and I think, and we have, I think, from the beginning of this conflict, I think General Franks has been very open to looking at new things if there are new things available, and has been willing to put them into the fight even before they've been fully wrung out. And I think that's not referring to these two particular cases of directed energy or high-powered microwave, but sure. And,
yes.
And we will continue to do that.
Okay, so that's Rumsfeld and the acting general at the time saying that that yes, we not only have these directed energy and microwave weaponry, but we might, and Rumsfeld's like, if we feel like using them, we'll use them, and they're talking about Iraq there, okay, but so that's more outright admittance and confirmation that not only do they have them, but they're going to use them, okay, or if they want to, okay, and we're still sitting there like morons believing that these are tornadoes and earthquakes. Okay, I'm sorry, folks, but you have to be a total moron to believe that. Okay, nothing blows away. Everything just breaks them into little pieces. Okay, and if you want to, you can look into that Ella Fitzgerald Memorex commercial. Is Alive or Isn't Memorex, where she sings and she breaks the glass, a wine, champagne flute, if you will, with her voice, okay, because that is just based on resonant frequency. Our cell phones are based on resonant frequency, our manipulations, and amplitudes and frequencies. Our microwave is used on resonant frequency and microwave frequency, radio frequency connections. And they're admitted by dozens of people that they're being used, and now they're using them, and Rachel Maddow was telling you last week that that's made up and stupid. Okay, and secretive, made up, stupid, like yeah, and like we get like and chuckling like a goddamn fool, like that's not what's going on when it's so obvious that's what's going on. Keep it going.
In the normal order of things, when you invest in research and development and begin a developmental project, you don't have any intention or expectations that one would use it. On the other hand, the real world intervenes from time to time, and you reach in there and take something out that is still in a developmental stage, and you might use it.
And that they are discharges from an RF weapon that uses intersecting energy beams called scalars.
In doing so, you can create, for example, either an electromagnetic explosion at a distance, or you can create an electromagnetic implosion at a distance, the extraction of energy from a distant point.
An electromagnetic implosion, okay, and what we're talking about, a bunch of houses being flattened, okay, and if you want to hear enough people say flattened, it's coming up right next.
If I only had a heart.
Question about some of the technology that you're developing to fight the war on terror, specifically directed energy and high-powered microwave technology. When do you envision that you can weaponize that type of technology?
Goodness, it is in, for the most part, the kinds of things you're talking about are in varying early stages. Do you want to give anything you'd add?
I don't think I would add much. I think they are in early stages and probably not ready.
Probably not ready in early stages, and that's coming from straight-up liars.
You are a bold-faced liar.
Shit, they're lying to us!
Oh, yeah. And, oh, yeah.
Pilot Doug Happ was in one of the 5 airline crews that saw an incredibly large cloud rising from the moonlit overcast below.
It looked like a plate coming up through an overcast, but it just kept expanding, and as it got higher, it was apparent that you could see right through the middle of it, so it looked like a big smoke ring.
Imagine the implications of a weapon with no visible trace, a weapon that could knock out tanks, ships, and planes as fast as the speed of light.
A weapon that can knock out tanks and planes as fast as the speed of light, if you will.
Who knows if the U.S. government uses a secret made-up weather weapon that only exists in the mind of, yeah.
Yep, and Rachel Maddow was telling you last week that that's not true, that's made up.
Of course we believe you, Dorothy.
Of course we believe you, Dorothy, and let's, okay, so Rachel Maddow...
Doesn't anybody believe me?
Of course we believe you, Dorothy.
And Rachel Maddow is telling you, no, you're crazy. You're crazy to believe it's stupid, made up. What secret made up?
Who knows if the U.S. government uses a secret made up weather weapon that only exists in the mind of, yeah.
It only exists in the mind of who? The General and Rumsfeld, William Cohen, 2 defense secretaries of defense, and General of the United States Army or Air Force or whatever the hell, or the Navy or wherever the hell he was. Those are the exists in the minds of what of them.
Who knows if the U.S. government uses a secret made up weather weapon that only exists in the mind of, yeah.
All right, so she sure is trying to get you not to believe something. That's for sure. Okay, and I know exactly what she's trying to get you to believe or not believe.
Doesn't anybody believe me?
Of course we believe you, Dorothy.
There you go, and let's keep the show going.
It was that the government really didn't want to come forward with a lot of information. Most of these programs still remain secret or classified.
Yeah, and you know, they keep it secret and classified by just telling you don't believe it, but with somebody like an idiot like Rachel Maddow.
Of course I don't know, but I think it'll get darker before it gets lighter.
That's a profundity from the old Scarecrow.
Long day.
And keep it going from there.
Pay no attention to that man behind the curtain.
Pay no attention to that man behind the curtain. That's exactly what the news outlets want you to believe. That's exactly what they want you to do. So now I'm going to show you where the word flattened comes up absolutely more times than you can count. Keep it going from there, but I'm going to mix in the interview I did with my Haitian friend years ago after the Haiti earthquake, because it's uncanny how the descriptions are all. I'm going to show you descriptions from Christchurch, New Zealand, which was a earthquake supposedly, from Haiti, from a Haitian guy who's going to describe what he saw in Haiti, and the tornado, all the same descriptions exactly. Okay, interesting.
This suburb of Oklahoma City had been flattened.
This suburb of Oklahoma City flattened.
This suburb of Oklahoma City had been flattened.
Okay, Haitian.
Everything went down flattened, my friend.
Flattened. Obama about the hospital.
We've got a hospital that has been destroyed.
All right, destroyed.
Cars and trucks scattered and crushed.
Trucks crushed. Crushed. That sounds like flattened a little bit.
Everything's flattened completely.
Everything's flattened completely.
This is the damage path right now. Houses are completely leveled.
Leveled. It doesn't even, it's unrecognizable.
Leveled. Houses are leveled.
Leveled?
It may go to set up a school for the children who attended the school that was flattened.
The Oklahoma school flattened.
Not today. Everything's still flat.
Until today, everything is still flat from the Haitian Observer.
We have numerous buildings that are completely flattened out and on the ground.
That was from another newscast. Numerous buildings completely flattened and on the ground.
We have numerous buildings that are completely flattened out and on the ground.
Now here's even liar, misinformer, deceptionist, Rachel Maddow.
Monday's devastating record-breaking tornado in Moore, Oklahoma, killed 24 people and flattened a community.
She wants you to believe that it was flattened, that tornadoes flatten communities. Community flattened.
An EF5 tornado would have winds in excess of 200 miles an hour and would reduce well-built homes to nothing but a concrete slab.
Reduce a home to a slab, flatten.
But that's what I'm trying to tell you. That everything went down flattened completely. And it shouldn't be like that. All Port-au-Prince is not a... Port-au-Prince is a big place.
Port-au-Prince is a big place. Everything's flattened completely.
It was a similar story in parts of Oklahoma. Again, some entire neighborhoods were flattened.
Oklahoma, entire neighborhoods flattened.
Flattened, completely flattened, my friend.
Haiti flattened.
Homes crushed to piles of debris. What looks like haystacks where houses once stood.
Right, but the haystacks don't blow away. They look like a haystack. A house looks like a haystack now, but it didn't blow away like hay would. Okay, so that's interesting. It just flattened it. He said it looks like a haystack. A stack, and that's what. And if you look at any of the pictures, you'll see that all the houses looked like there was like just rubble. It was rubble, and there was parts and pieces like of wood and planks and things like that were flattened. Okay, keep it going.
And I won't try to manage things because I can't think.
There you go. I skipped the Obama rubble clip.
To the first responders who dug through the rubble.
And then that was easy, and then I was supposed to give you this one.
And I won't try to manage things because I can't think.
There you go. There's a Scarecrow commenting on Obama's comment about the rubble.
Oh my God! The ferocious storm flattening homes and buildings.
Ferocious storm just flattened homes and buildings.
Monday's devastating record-breaking tornado in Moore, Oklahoma, killed 24 people and flattened a community.
Flattened the community.
Because everybody just flattening. Everything just flattened. You will find pot there, heavy, food there. That's the way it was. Because everything was flattened completely, my friend.
Right. Flattened completely.
We know more is going to come back stronger from this tragedy. Your mayor said that you're already printing new street signs.
They want to take over the land. They want to tell the people that there will be land. You understand me?
That's what the Haitian guy thought, and that's now, and their more is printing up new street signs. In other words, they're rearranging that area. And once again, Winston Smith on war.
The war is not meant to be won. It is meant to be continuous. The essential act of modern warfare is the destruction of the produce of human labor. A hierarchical society is only possible on the basis of poverty and ignorance. In principle, the war effort is always planned to keep society on the brink of starvation. The war is waged by the ruling group against its own subjects, and its object is not victory over Eurasia or Eastasia, but to keep the very structure of society intact.
There you go. And now we're going to talk about how once they perpetrate a heinous act of destroying people's shit in Oklahoma, then they're going to start trying to steal your money too. Okay, and that's one of the most despicable parts of this whole thing. Well, it's all despicable, but let's keep it going from there.
I'm assuming that's the same thing that's going to happen. I mean, I know our superintendent are talking with people, trying to get some kind of funding. It has to be important to keep our kids safe.
And that's what it is. It's a matter of funding, just having the political will to get the money for it. So, listen, I'm so glad everything worked out. And I'm so glad to meet you.
It's nice to meet you too.
All right,
you guys are doing a great job.
I wish you the best of luck in rebuilding.
Oh, thanks.
All right,
thanks. See you later.
Yeah, Anderson Cooper pumping out, yucking it up with the teacher whose school was just destroyed, and she's like, yeah, we'll be fine. Thanks, man. You're doing a great job, CNN. Okay, and they need funding. They need more funding. Let's keep it going.
$1 translates into 8 meals for a tornado survivor.
Okay, $1 translates into 8 meals, but then the Salvation Army guy says...
But for example, a $10 donation will feed a disaster survivor for 1 day.
But a $10 meal, he said you only get one day for a disaster survivor for $10. $10 is supposed to get 80 meals according to the other person. So I'm not sure who's eating 80 meals in 1 day, but there you go. So a little discrepancy there. Salvation Army is just like the Red Cross, is run by the same criminals who perpetrate the crimes. Promise you. Check it yourself. I don't have time for that in this show. Keep it going.
But remember that it's also the ongoing training and equipment that we're making sure that those things are placed. We can't shortchange that kind of ongoing disaster response. We can't just wait till the disaster happens.
Why, you're nothing but a great big coward.
You're right. I am a coward. I haven't any courage at all.
Yeah, maybe that's me, because I am saying something, so so I think I do have the courage to speak out on these things. Obama, so Obama's like, when disaster happens, we need to train better and to spend more and fund more money to the relief effort, which will be stolen and given out to his crony friends as well.
If I've got one message for folks here today, go online, donate to the American Red Cross.
Donate to the Red Cross and the Salvation Army, who needs $10 per person when the other lady said it was $1 for 8 meals.
If you want to help, give cash money to the Red Cross.
Okay, Bush is also giving money to the Red Cross.
If I've got one message for folks here today, go online, donate to the American Red Cross.
Okay, so Obama says donate to the Red Cross, and then Bush.
If you want to help, give cash money to the Red Cross.
Okay, give money to the Red Cross, and then, of course, when Bush was told us at Haiti...
I know a lot of people want to send blankets or water. Just send your cash.
Just send your cash, and then Clinton also in Haiti.
We just need cash.
We just need cash. Salvation Army guy, okay, listen what he says.
Donations, the key thing right today is money. We need money.
We just need money. I want money. And keep it going from there.
Well, Linda, there are so many ways you can help by going online, by texting on your phone, by making a simple phone call.
Texting online, make a phone call, send us your money. We just need cash. Send us your money.
I want to urge every American to step up. If I've got one message for folks here today, go online, donate to the American Red Cross.
Obama, go online and donate to the American Red Cross. But then what happened with Haiti, though? What happened with the money we sent them?
Can I ask you how much of the $10 billion that's been promised has been delivered?
It's not much. It's not much.
Nope, not much, and that's unfortunate. But that's but then we got Bush. We always got Bush, to help make sure our money gets spent wisely.
We've all seen that firsthand when American citizens responded to the tsunami or to Katrina or the earthquake in Pakistan. And President Clinton and I are going to work to tap that same spirit of giving to help our brothers and sisters in the Caribbean.
Yeah, we're going to tap that spirit of giving once again.
You hit the nail on the head, Brownie. Americans do have short attention spans. No, it's great because you can just half-ass shit and it doesn't matter.
There you go. That's Will Ferrell pretending to be Bush, kidding around. But that's, Obama's out there like, text your money in, go online, give it to the Red Cross once again. Okay?
And President Clinton and I are going to work to tap that same spirit of giving to help our brothers and sisters in the Caribbean.
There you go.
And we will be through every damaged piece of property in this city at least 3 times before we're done.
The FEMA guy's saying we'll be through every damaged property in the city before we're done. I'm not sure. I'm not quite sure what he needs to what he's doing in there, but that seems to be what he says. So all right. So we're coming down the back stretch of the show. I tried to make my case for weather weapons being used in this Oklahoma tornado, so to speak, or so-called tornado. We're going to keep it going. Got a couple more clips. A bunch more clips, really. So keep in mind. So anyway, then they were talking about in the movie Twister, the cone of silence, and that's going to be because everything goes quiet after the storm goes through. And but so I was like, where did I hear Cone of Silence before? And then I was like, oh yeah, that's my favorite, one of my favorite old shows when I was a wee little bitty rat, little tiny rat, and baby rat. And let's talk about the Cone of Silence.
Wait a minute, Chief. Isn't this top security?
Yeah.
Well, shouldn't we activate the Cone of Silence?
Max, I've been having a little mechanical difficulty with it lately.
The Cone of Silence, and then we go from the next Cone of Silence to so then in Twister.
Where'd it go? Where is it? What's going on? I don't believe this. What the hell?
Lord, what does the Doppler say?
The Cone of Silence.
Cone of Silence, and it's also because these electromagnetic weapons knock out a lot of electronics, and that's what happened in the movie Twister. And so they're like, yeah, so if your phone goes off or whatever, that's just a cone of silence. Okay, that's from the tornado. That's not from electromagnetic wave technology knocking out your electronics, which is being told to you that that's what they do. That's what they use them for specifically, and that nobody's even disputing that that's very doable, absolutely doable and usable, except for Rachel Maddow, who's going to tell you that you're crazy to believe that last week, even though people have been telling us for years and years and years about these weapons and the development thereof.
From here on, everything is Class A security. Here's what I want you to do.
Wait a minute, Chief. Didn't you just say Class A security?
I did.
Well, then shouldn't we...
Do you want me to leave the room?
That won't be necessary, Hodgkins. We can talk under the Cone of Silence.
The Cone of Silence?
Well, this is a magenta alert, isn't it?
The cone of silence.
And it was funny how they use the same sound of the cone of silence in the Twister movie at the end of the clip as they do with the cone of silence in that one. It's very interesting how that's used. And let's keep it going now. So now we're going to talk about the 911 calls, which CNN did a whole thing on them. They're all absurd. Coming down the backstretch in the Max Ratt Deconstruction Zone. Let's keep it going.
We're getting a new glimpse of the fear and the panic that spread across Moore, Oklahoma, as a monster tornado was tearing up the town. Powerful 911 phone calls were released only moments ago. Listen to this.
Yeah, and the other thing is about these, that it only hits one town for some strange reason. So I'm not quite sure why that is, but
More 911. Where's your emergency? We got hit. Okay, is anybody injured? Are any of you guys injured? My dad can't tell. There's a bunch of stuff like on top of us. I'm able to get out, but I don't know if they'll be able to. Okay, are they? Why? They're trapped or they're just injured? I don't know what. Are you guys trapped? Can you get up?
it's a very strange 911 call, but we'll continue on from there.
On my stepmom and dad, I can possibly get out and help them out. Thank you, sweetheart. Are you guys trapped? Yeah. They're trapped? I think they got it. Can they get out at all, ma'am? We just stood up. Ma'am, I need to are they trapped or can they get out in any way, ma'am? Can we get out of this in any way? Oh my God! We've got several places hit. This is very important. I need to know this now. I understand it's crazy. We can possibly get out if we can find a way out. But everything in front of us from what we can see is wiped out. Okay, just try to get out if you can. If something happens and someone cannot get out and they're trapped, then call me back. Okay, thank you. And be very careful where you walk, okay? But make sure everyone's got shoes on. Okay. All right, hon. Thank you. Oh, thank you.
That's 911.
I haven't got a brain.
Yeah, and as we come down the backstretch, that's what CNN's representing as a 911 call.
So many people in this country have their heads so far up their ass, I doubt very seriously if they will manage to extricate it before they suffocate.
More 911.
There's people down. We're stuck under rubble.
Yes, ma'am. We've got a call. We're getting them out there as soon as we can.
Please hurry.
We'll get them out there as soon as we can. Thank you.
Yeah, we'll get them out there. We don't need your address. We'll just get them out there.
More 911.
We got a daycare full of babies.
Okay.
We need help bad.
Okay. Do you got me?
We need help bad. We got a daycare that just got cremated.
Got a daycare that got cremated. Babies.
More 911. Where's your emergency?
The tornado just hit us. We're trapped in the closet. There's stuff all on top of us. We can't get out.
In the closet?
Yes.
Okay. Are you injured?
No, we just can't breathe.
We're not injured. We just can't breathe.
If I only had a brain.
Yep, and more 911 calls from more 911.
More 911.
Yes, we just got a call from a gentleman that lives in Moore that his house has collapsed on his kids.
Okay, so they got a call. So why couldn't he call 911 if he called? We just got a call from a guy who lives in Moore, and he called me, and I'm calling you. Why don't you just tell him to call 911 himself? Hey.
More 911, where's your emergency? Where is the tornado at? Last we heard was 19th and Western.
Oh my God!
Okay, if you're able to take shelter, you need to.
Right, so now the 911 lady's giving out the location of the tornado. Yeah, okay.
Try imagining a place where it's always safe and warm. Come in, she said, I'll give you shelter from the storm.
And there, Corey Schultz sees his work as more than a business. Crude storm shelters have been around for generations, famously featured in The Wizard of Oz. But modern shelters are an entirely different matter. Many companies now offer a variety of steel and concrete structures for above and below ground, boasting an array of extra security measures and strengths.
Each one of these anchor bolts has a 10,000-pound shear strength. So by putting one every foot around here, it can more than withstand any storm.
Yes, you're living in a police state. Your government is evil.
Right, that stuff is to condition you for police state stuff. Like, well, yeah, well, the shelter is need to build stronger for extra security. Everything's about extra security. You always need extra security now, you know?
But nothing really matters much. It's doom alone that counts. And the one-eyed undertaker, he blows a feudal horn. Come in, she said, I'll give ya shelter from the storm.
Nobody can talk to me and talk me out of that shelters are worth it, because I know they are. We're saving lives.
Yes, you're living in a police state. Your government is evil.
Oh yeah, and yeah. So you know what? So then at the end of the show, I'm gonna do. You know, they brought up wild horses again in the Oklahoma tornado, which is very interesting to me. But like I said, wild horses seem to be proliferated throughout the news media, because it's something that people relate to, and it's a good way to manipulate, at least you subliminally. So as we come down the stretch we come, in the back stretch, we're going to go to horses, like it's a horse race, and down the stretch we come with the horses in the wild horse Oklahoma tornado segment, and the final segment of the show. So this is interesting, though. Enjoy.
At a family farm, as many as 100 horses were killed.
Okay, 100 horses killed at the family farm, but then they're going to okay, 100 horses killed at the family farm. Let's move on from there.
The tornado tore through this fertile horse country.
So your horses lived here, and you lived here too in an apartment.
Correct.
You live with your horses.
We live with our horses.
We live with our horses in an apartment. There we go. Interesting. Okay, we live with our horses in the apartment in Oklahoma, and here we go.
As soon as we get dressed, we come out, give them breakfast, and then we go in and eat.
Tell me your favorite horses.
Buying Corona.
I'm so sorry to both of you.
Okay, so he says, tell me your favorite horses, and the guy says, buying Corona, which is a Mexican beer. And he looks like he pretends he's crying, but he's really laughing, okay? Let's listen.
I just showed you. They did not know they were mother and daughter. They came at two separate times to the hospital.
As soon as we get dressed, we come out, give them breakfast, and then we go in and eat.
Tell me your favorite horses.
Buying Corona.
I'm so sorry to both of you.
He's both trying not to laugh, okay? The other guy's laughing, but disguising it as a cry. He goes, tell me your favorite horses. He's like, buying Corona. Like that. There you go. And coming down the back stretch, buying Corona.
Wolf doctors and volunteers drove all over the neighborhoods here and more, looking for horses who were by themselves, who were injured, and then brought them to the hospital. And that leads me to the amazing story of Samantha and Nancy, the two horses I just showed you. They did not know they were mother and daughter. They came at two separate times to the hospital. They only realized that they were a mare and foal, a mother and daughter, when Nancy started nursing with Samantha.
Nancy started nursing at the horse hospital where they brought them to. And then they realized that they reunited a family of horses. Blinded. Sorry, that was kind of loud, but I'll play that one for you again. Blinded with me with science, man, as usual. And now, there's more rubble. And as we come down the backstretch of the show,
very sacred memento of your husband, a wedding ring that was located in the rubble, the debris of your home.
A wedding ring they found in the debris of the rubble of their home. Her dead husband's wedding ring, if you will, from the earlier segment. And So nothing blew away. They found everything including a wedding ring in these piles of rubble. If you saw them on TV, you might question that as well, like as I do.
Are you doing that on purpose? Or can't you make up your mind?
That's the trouble. I can't make up my mind. I haven't got a brain. Only straw.
How can you talk if you haven't got a brain?
I don't know. But some people without brains do an awful lot of talking, don't they?
Yes, I guess you're right.
Okay, some people without brains do an awful lot of talking, as we've seen throughout the show. So we're down to the last couple of clips here, and let me just do a quick summing up of what I went through tonight. You had an earthquake, you had all this earthquake, you had a tornado in Oklahoma, you had all this destruction, so-called tornado. I believe that they're using these they said they can accurately become more and more precise. You heard the guys that say, these weapons, you've heard a dozen people say that they exist and that they're being used, or they're gonna use them. They tell you on TV like what you saw a tornado, you saw this, you saw that, it creates hail, it does this, it's a mile wide and 5 miles high, and it comes and goes real fast, so you probably don't see, it's not that easy to see, there's a cone of silence, in other words, your phones get knocked out when, after that's done, and all of this is being done by wind that comes together, but the wind doesn't blow anything away, it just flattens things, crushes cars, okay, the wind, okay, it doesn't blow the door off a car or blow the windows out, it crushes cars, okay, that's interesting, certainly, because you would think that wind would need something to pin it something against, but that's not the case in these situations, to crush it. So what I'm saying is that they're using these weather weapons, or I don't even know if you want to call it a weather weapon. I'd rather just call it a weapon. And they're using them over and over and over again all over the world. Okay, in Haiti, in Christchurch, New Zealand, in Japan, in Santiago, Chile. Now they're calling it a tornado, and they're using it here on American people, folks. Okay, if you don't think that's a very serious thing, I do. Okay, on American people, we're using it, and then we're using it to blow out, to destroy people's the produce of their labor. Okay, like Winston said in 1984, and we're destroying people's homes, and then we're going to go on to TV and ask people to give money. We'll steal that money too and use it to build whatever more police state apparatus we need to build to lock you down even further, okay, and dislocate people from their homes and move them off to farmland and move them off their land so we can stick them all in little cubicles in the city to control them and tell them, well, look, Oklahoma's not safe enough for you anymore. You better move out. That's what this is all about. This is a criminal operation. You could see it right before your eyes. And you have they have lying criminals like Rachel Maddow going on telling you that it's made up, and that's crazy to believe that. Well, why it's crazy? Like two different Secretary of Defenses tell you right to your face that it's true. Well, the lady asked him, "What about electromagnetic weapons?" And he says, "Yes, we will use them if we want to." And the other guy says they're absolutely real. Okay, and she's going to tell you last week that they're made up. Okay, so that because they think you're a fucking idiot. Okay. And this is something that people have to wake. And you know what? Frankly, if I spoke to 100 people, 10 people, and told them that this was done by a weapon, all 10 of them are looking at me like, what you don't believe there's such a thing as a tornado, which has nothing to do with anything. Okay, I don't believe there's such a thing as a tornado that flattens houses and doesn't blow anything away, and I certainly don't believe that it crushes that wind crushes cars and crushes steel and bends steel. And leaves other things intact while it takes out a whole thing and then the whole house and then leaves the next house next door intact and then the house after that is taken out again. No. That's not how wind works. Wind is chaotic. Okay, it's not gonna be selective like that. It doesn't bounce up and down. That's ridiculous. That's all programming and conditioning for you. And on that note, let's finish up this show. I'm getting irritated that people don't even realize like what's going on here, because this is very serious to me. Okay, I mean for factions inside our own country, murdering and destroying people's homes and murdering people just for to propagate their own evil agendas is sick to me, and it's even sicker that people are so stupid to believe it all and not to ask questions for themselves, like I'm doing here. And I hope you enjoyed this show. Let's roll it. The last couple of clips. Thanks for coming along over to listening to the Max Ratt Deconstruction Zone. I'm Max Ratt once again. Play a couple clips, and I'll sign off to you.
Surrender, Dorothy.
Surrender, Dorothy. That's what they want you to do.
Husband was a movie freak. Actually, he was particularly obsessed with one movie, The Wizard of Oz. He talked about it constantly. I thought it was cute at first. On our wedding night, I was a virgin. When we made love, you've seen the film, haven't you?
The Wizard of Oz? Yeah, I've seen it.
Well, when we made love, whenever when he came, he would just scream out, "Surrender, Dorothy." That's all. Just surrender, Dorothy.
Wow.
I know. Instead of moaning or saying, "Oh God," or something normal like that. I mean, it was pretty creepy. And I told him I thought so, but he just couldn't stop. He just couldn't stop. He just couldn't stop. He said he didn't even realize it was happening. He just couldn't stop. So I just broke the whole thing off.
But it won't be Osama bin Laden. It will be those behind the New World Order who once again want to take the guns and the freedom away from the American people, because we're the only ones left in the world who can oppose the destruction of freedom in the world and the implementation of a one-world totalitarian socialist government, and that is the goal.
That's a goal, and that's Bill Cooper telling you, yeah, he's like, they want to take away your guns too because of that. I agree with that, but don't let that steer you into thinking, oh, this guy's just a right-wing freak. Single thing he said, and that's true. Play that one more time, and on that note, let me say thanks again for coming aboard, and I'm Max Ratt on May 29th, 2013, talking about, just finished a show on the Oklahoma tornado. And I'm over now.
But it won't be Osama bin Laden. It will be those behind the New World Order who once again want to take the guns and the freedom away from the American people, because we're the only ones left in the world who can oppose the destruction of freedom in the world and the implementation of a one-world totalitarian socialist government, and that is the goal.
If I don't come back, you tell Mother I love her.
Your mother's dead, Llewellyn.
Well, then I'll tell her myself.